Yeah, I'm recording it now.
Cool. Chapter 49, Orders. On 13 June 1940, Baba and a few men left Meherabad by train for Calcutta, where he contacted the 6th Plain Must, Karim Baba. He sent the following telegram to the women on 18 June. Be ready. Leave Meherabad 5 July. They still had no idea where they were going, and they did not ask. As long as it was with their beloved, it did not matter. Baba returned on 22 June and immediately issued a message about the war. Quote, the present universal chaos is just a universal nightmare, necessary for the real universal awakening. Things are happening and will happen as they ought to happen by the divine will. And so, whether war ends now or next year, or whether there is truce now or peace next year, having no thought in mind whatsoever of war and peace, you will have to go wheresoever I may send you, and do whatsoever I may tell you, at the cost of supreme self-sacrifice. From 1 August 1940 to 31 July 1941. This message was sent to over 240 of Meher Baba's closest followers, asking them to obey strict orders from him for 1 year, beginning 1 August. All answered affirmatively. So, like millions of soldiers going into battle, Baba's lovers also had their orders from their commander-in-chief. Baba has explained the ways in which he works inwardly with his universal mind for the universe, which includes working indirectly through agents and with his and with his individual mind for individuals. Indirect working for individuals means when I am always present near my disciples and devotees and help them indirectly. Direct working means when I give definite orders to a person. When the disciple is carrying them out, I am there to help them directly. When I give definite orders, I definitely help. On the 22nd, Baba also met with the women and told them about his journey and about finding the new must, Karim Baba, the spiritual charge man of Calcutta. About Chati Baba and another unidentified must at Meherabad, he commented, since my arrival, the two musts have confined themselves to their room and not eaten all day. It is because they know my working. On 29 June, Baba informed the women, from 1 August 1940, doomsday will start for the whole world. Not for one moment will people feel safe in any part of the world for 1 year. All over the world, there will be earthquakes, floods, famine, and new diseases. There will be a terrible famine, like the one in Persia, where millions died in a single year. Half the world will be affected by this famine. People will forget war, victory, and defeat. I remember It was 17 years ago when I was having tea with the Mandalay in the mess quarters. I told them all about this war, when and how it would happen. This war will bring complete destruction. America will not suffer any less. Her backbone will snap. Baba disclosed that he would be taking them, along with the men Mandali and three musts, Chadi Baba, Muhammad, and Shariat Khan, to Ranchi in Bihar. He told Chanji that since Ranchi is a hill resort, they should view their time there as a holiday and recreation before beginning a year of severe discipline in August. Though the women seemed to like the idea of Ranchi, for the men it was anything but a vacation. Traveling in India is never easy, and it was made even more difficult when the men had to make special arrangements for Baba's women Mandalay with their special needs for seclusion. To the men responsible for the bookings and residential arrangements, the women were just so much extra baggage. They were enormously relieved whenever Baba decided not to take the women. But Baba needed Mehera and the other women in Ranchi for his war work. So Chanji was instructed to make separate traveling arrangements for them. In his letter of 30 June to the chief traffic manager, GIP Railway, Chanji explained. This is Chanji explaining. Some of the members of the party have been observing certain strict discipline of a spiritual seclusion. The guard in charge of the train may be specially instructed to allow none to occupy these compartments between Bombay and Manmad, where these will be returning empty, in order to enable the party to occupy the same absolutely undisturbed at Manmad. 21 women traveled by train with Baba from Ahmednagar, arriving in Ranchi on Friday, 5 July. They stayed for 2 weeks in the Prince Victor bungalow, which had previously belonged to the Rani of Kuch Bihar. Could you scroll, please, Tina? Tired and dirty from the journey, all had a bath. But the next day they found that the well in the compound contained only stored rainwater and was now dry. The Mandali had to arrange for cooking and drinking water from a neighboring well. The weather, moreover, was depressing. It was monsoon season, and constant drizzling was interspersed with heavier showers. When it was sunny, the air was sticky and sultry, and the ground was muddy and slippery. Although Ranchi is known as a resort area, and they had come for a quote unquote vacation, most of their time was spent indoors, working on the 240 sets of individual orders. A copy had to be typed for each individual. Baba then personally indicated which orders that person was to follow. In addition, Baba had separate slips typed for special orders and clarifications, which he also reviewed and signed. All this had to be done immediately, since Baba wanted to finish it before he left Ranchi. Chanji described in his diary how this was done and what sort of orders they were. Half a dozen of the group, both ladies and men, were set to work on these for over 10 days, working continuously for hours. With no table or chair to sit on, we worked squatting on the floor. That was always wet and soiled, with one or another stepping in and out of the room at almost every moment, while the wind played mischief and blew a number of papers away. It was very trying work. We had worked on the floor for years, but that was at our home in Meherabad. Here we had none of that feeling or atmosphere, nor any open space to move about. Different injunctions were given to different individuals in accordance with their tendencies, temperaments, and vocations in life. These include fasting, silence, abstinence from alcoholic drink or drugs of any kind, tobacco smoking in any form, entertainment in public shows, and even for a few, reading and writing. But above all, severe restrictions to all regarding sex, including married couples. The men, who were not accustomed to seclusion like the women, felt confined by their conditions, as Chanji also noted. Our condition was like state prisoners. This is Chanji speaking. Being enclosed on three sides, or I should say, our condition was like state prisoners, or rather, worse, being enclosed on three sides. One side for the ladies in seclusion, another for the musts, and on the third, a huge hill that seemed too close, as if on our chests. The only side left open to us, which presented a beautiful view of the green fields and meadows, and a nice landscape with a chain of mountains in the distant background, became too boring after 2 or 3 days. Oh, poor Chanji. Tina, you want to continue?
No, Rosalie, are you here?
Evie's here too.
Yeah. I'm here. Um,
At moreover, Chadi Baba, Rosalie,
mm,
after the italics.
okay, moreover,
Yeah.
Chadi Baba had been in a foul mood ever since getting off the train at Ranchi. He kept wanting to go to the women's side. Conditions in Europe, and especially France, were rapidly deteriorating. And Baba had commented that Chadi Baba had a close connection with that country. Baba worked with the Mas daily and occasionally dropped a few hints to the men, Mandalay, of how this work related to the war. In contrast, Baba made a point of taking time in the evening to have intimate, detailed chats with the women about the world situation. Mani made a record of these talks in her diary. On 6 July, after reading the newspaper, Baba remarked to the women, "Britain has taken the French fleet at Oran. It is their first victory so far over Germany." Baba continued, "Have you ever had such surprises?" England fighting France. But all this is only the beginning. Millions will die, and there will be earthquakes, diseases, floods, etc. They think the war will last very long, but I have planned it only till August 1941. Baba changed the topic to their living quarters. How do you like this bungalow? Very nice, with a lovely garden and so on, but the drinking water well is almost empty, and there are heaps of snakes. They say there is a man-eating python on the hill in our compound, but no amount of snakes or mosquitoes or insects will make us move from here. Only if there is no more drinking water might we shift to another bungalow. I don't shift from a place for nothing. What with you all and the luggage and train expenses, etc., and getting cramped in the compartment. And when I tell Elizabeth in the early morning to brush her teeth, after saying what, why, how, when, where, she goes back to sleep. Laughter. This tour has an objective, else I would not take you from place to place. In these journeys, you are harassed, and so am I. But for my work, I have to do it. The day we left Meherabad, the British captured the fleet at Oran. It was my working. On the train to Ranchi, Baba had commented, each time I move from someplace, something happens. When we left Bangalore, France got in a fix. And now that we have left Meherabad, Britain will be cornered. I'm going to read the sidebar. Regarding gasoline rationing, most of the blue bus tours occurred at the beginning of the war, before gasoline rationing came into effect. By 1942, when traveling by bus around the country was no longer possible, the tours were discontinued. Despite their victory at Oran, the British would soon find themselves engaged in the Battle of Britain with Germany's Luftwaffe. Mani recalled that several times when they were traveling during wartime, Baba suddenly changed their travel plans. And the next day in the newspaper, they read how the war had taken a sudden shift. Yet some things were just the opposite of events in the world. For instance, Mani noted, during the war, when food was rationed, we had plenty. It was like a feast wherever we went. Mani's diary continues. Then Baba told us about Chati Baba and how he would not go over to the must ashram, but how when he sent the English barber, Duncan, to touch him on the arm and say, come, he came. That too was my working, Baba revealed. While we were talking of Chati Baba, the chati in Baba's kitchen burst plop into bits, and the water streamed into the room amidst our laughter. And it has a sidebar. This must were usually called by some nickname that epitomized some peculiarity of habit of dress. Chati Baba was so named because he carried an I guess a chadi, doing it, yeah. He carried an earthenware chadi everywhere into which people put food. Baba had sent Eric's father, Papa Jesawala, to Rangoon, Burma, to look for a suitable bungalow there for Baba and the women Mandali. Baba referred to this the next day, 7 July, when he again talked at length with the women, expounding on their future plans, the war, the nations involved in it, and the leading characters on the world stage. Whether we go to Rangoon or Meherabad, we go to Calcutta after 2 weeks or so for 5 days. It is very, very interesting, and we shall see all. If we go to Meherabad, we go straight from here. In Calcutta, there are the zoo, the botanical gardens, and a tree so big that 5,000 soldiers rested under it during the last war. In Calcutta, we go to a hotel. In Ranchi, during these 15 days, we go once to see the Jonah Falls. Very beautiful. 15 to 20 days rest here. I wish I could also rest the whole day when it is raining. Here, however, much it rains, it is warm. England is not yet invaded, so to speed matters up, I have a plan for 4 days from today. Baba pointed to a bottle and asked them to guess what was inside. Elizabeth guessed port wine, which was correct. And Baba asked, "You want to get drunk? Be mild and not wild. I know what to do." And the sidebar says, oh wait, I'm not reading it. Baba served everyone wine, even Jangu, who had more than his share and liked it very much. "Wine enriches the blood," Baba commented. Sidebar says, Mehru noted, whenever Baba talked of offering wine or actually served it, which was rare, we always felt it was significant. In 4 days, matters will speed up, Baba said, continuing on the topic of, I need new words. Continuing on the topic of the war, Baba said, Margaret would like to box Hitler's ears. If Kitty takes 2 glasses, she will misplace Lucky the monkey. Rain, wine, gossip, and if cold, sit near the fire. Pistol, Papa Jesawala, is leaving Calcutta for Rangoon tomorrow. Tomorrow, 2 glasses of port wine and music at 7 p.m. In the evening, who would like to see a circus? All hands went up. So in Ranchi, one day we see the circus and one day waterfalls. About conditions in Ranchi, Baba stated, water boiled is absolutely harmless. I know, or else I would not let you drink it. There is another well for drinking. It's muddy, but pure. It's the monsoon. What cleans the water? Tortoises, frogs, and water spiders. But worms of a bad type are very tiny. They are bad. Potassium permanganate kills them. They are not in used wells. Water not in use for a long time produces worms. And when you swallow one, they grow like snakes in your stomach. Rainwater is very good if caught, pure for drinking, and it softens the skin. So try to collect rainwater. From August 1st, we will speak about the war and nothing else. The conditions that prevail in the world today are the cause of its suffering. But this misery and suffering are not for emancipation. Only love can achieve that. The worst of sinners, after undergoing untold privations, have turned into the greatest of saints. Even a sinner worse than Hitler can become a saint. If a man such as Hitler were really to feel what he has done and repent for it, then it would be greatness on his part. All this is a play of the mind. The mind goes one way and it keeps on going. Hitler thinks what he is doing is absolutely right, but he is doing justice for Germany. Mussolini thinks that he is doing now for Italy, compared to its former suffering, is quite good. With these thoughts for their one right, they feel justified to commit millions of wrongs. The more the gains now, the more the intoxication for still more. Drunkards, when they get drunk, challenge. Come one, come all. It's not the drunkards who say it, but their intoxication. Thus, out of sheer hostility, the more wrongs done, the more the repentance. How does this all work? We are all nations. Each of you represents a nation. Mansari is a small nation. Nadine is a big nation, and so on. Each one according to her greatness or smallness, her greed, her longing for power and possessions, tries to diplomatically get what she wants. All will be exhausted. Just go limp. No one wins, no one loses. All will be half dead. There was never such a war. France first fought side by side with England. Now she fights against her. Such a muddle. Religion has to go and God has to come. Definitely. Gandhi tells Britain to be nonviolent, to let Germany take over England, to let themselves be killed, to be destroyed, and not to fight. What he says is 100% right and true, but absolutely impossible and impractical. Hitler and Gandhi are both right in their way of thinking, according to their own conceptions, but both are stark mad to think so. Both are extremes. Extreme violence, when it reaches its zenith, becomes nonviolence, and vice versa. Mussolini is purely a worldly type. Garlic. He tries to snatch here and there. Hitler is a beast, but also a man. Mussolini is simply a bear. Gandhi is impractical, but a very good man. He thinks about what is right, tries to act up to it, admits his weaknesses. The world will never be nonviolent. It will always be more than nonviolence. And more than nonviolence is love. But Gandhi is much above Hitler and Mussolini. He is a great man. Wherever he feels is his weakness, he admits it. So we drink wine for 3 days, go to the circus and waterfalls, and for 1 year get drowned. Today's soupy bendi, okra, the English barber liked very much. So soup ends our talk tonight, and that means the world will be in the soup tomorrow. We live not for God, but for self-realization. Good night. Ta-ta. The next day, 8th July, Baba again commented on the war to the women. To get Turkey in a mess before we leave Ranchi, there is only one solution. Tomorrow we go to the Jonah Falls. The day after to the circus. And then we get buried in this house until we go. Tomorrow, seeing the falls will make Turkey fall. And seeing the elephant ride the cycle in the circus will make Turkey ride wild horses. Baba had sent Kakabaria to Calcutta to bring back must. And on 9 July, Kaka arrived in Ranchi with Karim Baba. Duncan described him. Unlike almost every other must who has been brought to Baba, Karim Baba was never bathed. In Ranchi, Karim Baba was lodged in a special little room, and Baba will go several times each day to feed him and sit alone with him. Karim Baba was usually silent, but from time to time he would utter some short phrase with the sudden vigor of a lid blowing off a boiling kettle. He used to laugh and sing when Baba sat with him. And one would sometimes wake up at an odd, unknown hour in the dead of night and hear him singing sweetly and gently to himself. It moved one strangely to hear so sweet a voice when one knew his external aspect to be so formidable. And one felt it to be a revelation of the radiance of his inner nature. Chanji's diary also contained a description of Karim Baba, who seemed to be a warrior must. Until now, Karim Baba has remained quiet, though howling aloud at times, which might frighten anyone. Baba warned all that. He might strike one on the face and scratch his nose off at a stroke. He has extremely long and sharp nails, and his physique reminds me of a must athlete. Baba also hinted that he might even touch or hurt Baba. When he is in an excited mood, unconscious of what he is doing. That same night, Baba informed the women, "Today I am very happy. There are 2 very advanced souls who control the whole of Calcutta. One woman, very old, who looks like Baba Jan, and one man whom Fatty Kaka has brought here today. I saw both during my last trip to Calcutta." And the sidebar says, Baba gave the Mastani an umbrella and a new sari. Tomorrow I will show him to you all. When we were in Calcutta and saw him, it was raining so hard, but he was just lying there, oblivious to it. He doesn't speak a word. After 4 days of Baba's contact, however, Karim Baba not only spoke, but began singing, as noted above. That day, Baba took the women to Jonah Falls and to the circus, where one of the acts was a lion, a goat, and a cow, all eating out of the same plate. Their enjoyment of the performance was marred, however, by rain leaking through the torn canvas roof. Besides working universally and individually, Meher Baba also worked collectively when he went to such events, as he explained. Quotes, when I work collectively, which is generally at plays, movies, and sporting events, wherever people collect and concentrate on a particular object, it is easy for me to have my spiritual effect collectively on their minds. 2 days later, 11 July, Baba told the women about the war in Europe and ended by saying, tomorrow, half bottle of brandy. Whiskey we keep to break it open in 1941. We leave for Calcutta on the 19th, noon. So order from the bazaar accordingly. It is 250 miles from here, 12 hours in the train. We shall reach there in the morning. The next day, Baba gave the women their own orders to be obeyed for the coming year and commented further about the must and the war. Tomorrow, all of you write down the 7 names of God and learn them by heart. Then you have to sing from your heart. Hari Paramatma, Allah, Ahura Mazda, God, Yezdan Hu. So all must sing it from the heart. The orders that I will give to each will have to be obeyed 100%. Try your utmost. You will have helped me by trying your best. If you obey fully, you have helped me fully. If you obey ordinarily, you help me ordinarily. Have this very clear. Also, 90% we go back to Meherabad after Calcutta, 10% not certain. This 1 year, you will see me very little. Let this 1 year of your life be just for obeying orders. It will not help me a bit if you do not obey. And then repent and feel sorry. If I say don't talk ill of one another, it means just that under every circumstance. If you talk ill of anyone once and then feel sorry, that won't mean anything. So every moment, be on guard. Your yoga for 1 year is to obey orders with all your hearts. Supreme sacrifice for some of you. And for Mehera, it will mean not seeing much of me. But to obey me in the orders I will give you will be helping me. Men Mandali, some I send to the mountains, a few to beg, etc. But for you all, it is simpler, but more difficult. Difficult because of the orders just said. If one of you obeys implicitly, as I want you to, then I will be happy. From the 1st of August, you all sing with the harmonium. For 1 year, you will eat only once a day. Eat as much as you like at one sitting, for as long as you like, for half or 1 hour. In Europe, people will starve in 6 months. They will eat horses, rats, children, old people. Compared to them, you are in heaven. But you all will have to obey, even if you die. Twice tea or coffee, morning and noon, with milk. It will not go easy for the first few days for anyone who likes tea or coffee. But if it were easy, what would be the meaning of 1 year's life of sacrifice? Even I will have to give the supreme sacrifice in my own way. On 14 July, Baba made further random comments about the must, their journeys to Calcutta, the war, and their orders. Now about luggage. Listen carefully. We take to Calcutta our beddings and keep them in the cloakroom of the station for 5 days. Then we bring them. We take suitcases, big or small. In Calcutta, every second you will have to change clothes, like in Bombay. The climate is far better than in Bombay. You won't feel ill. Calcutta is terminus for the train. We occupy a compartment 64. I guess I'll read the sidebar. According to Mansari, one day Baba called the women and asked them, "What will happen to this world? I will give you 5 minutes to narrate the worst scenario." Everyone spoke of the horrors that would befall, to which Baba said, "This is not even 1% of what will happen. The entire world will cry out. Food will not be available, and people will eat the cloth off their backs. There will be such famines that people might be forced to eat paper." But he added, "I will see that those who are mine get a little to eat." I think I'll pass the reading on to someone else.
Where did you leave off, Rosalie?
Good question. Right after we occupy compartment 64, England accepted Japan. I hadn't read that.
I don't see that.
Okay, scroll up a little. There's a paragraph, and then it says quotes indented, England accepted Japan.
I can't find it.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the screen and scroll and look down to where it says 64 in the middle.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, and then the next sentence is where you start, England.
Eva, would you like to take over?
Sure. England accepted Japan not sending goods to China. 4 of you will keep silence for 1 year. Nadine, Irene, Mansari, and Carmen Masi. And 4 men Mandali go to the mountains to die or live in Tiger Valley. We go to Calcutta worse than we came here on the train. Calcutta to Meherabad, quite comfortable. Type orders for others. and with it a pamphlet with numbers, some very strict orders, not to touch their wife or any woman in the house, literally. All stay at Meherabad except Margaret. If called, can go, which is 99% impossible. Only Norina stays for 4 months at Meherabad, leaves to tell people what I tell you for 4 months, then again 4 months back to Meherabad. It is all very thrilling, exciting, and difficult. We go to the pictures in Calcutta. The next day, Baba spoke again about their orders and continued with miscellaneous remarks. These orders are most important. It is most difficult not to backbite. Still, the more you try, the more you help me. It is very easy to say that someone else is bad, but when someone is bad, then to feel she is not bad is most difficult. To take food once a day is easy, but to think well of others is a real help. Even if just one of you does it, I shall be happy. Criticism is in everyone's blood, and it is real self-control not to indulge in it. Suppose you are having 3 slices of bread and butter, and Nadine takes 1 slice and eats it. What would you say? You would think her mean. But if you offer her another slice sincerely, and she is nice, that is something great and uplifting. If you scroll up, I can read the sidebar.
We already read it.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Okay. It means, in short, every moment of this 1 year, except the hours you are asleep, you have to be on guard if you honestly wish to obey these orders. That is the long and short of it, and that is how I want it. From the moment you get up until you go to sleep, be on guard, remember the orders, and do it. So, for 5 days in Calcutta, see the cinema, enjoy. Kippy, Elizabeth's dog, has connection with me from long ago. In Meherabad, the weather will be nice now for 8 months, August 1940 to August 1941, a most interesting year. In 1943, we all go to Mexico. After August 1941, we go round and round with hundreds of airplanes. And wherever we go, we land by parachutes. On 16 July, Baba again commented on the world situation, mentioning Winston Churchill, Hitler, and Mussolini. He then said, England will be worse than defeated. It will be made helpless, but it will be a good world later when, just as we saw in the circus the other night, when the lion, goat, and cow all ate together out of one plate with no trainer, but with my help. And on the sidebar, Churchill had recently become Prime Minister of England after Chamberlain's resignation. When we leave on the 19th, you all take your own lunch in your sacks, eggs, potatoes, cheese, bread, and butter. In the hotel, you Westerners will get Western food. Kitty and Rano eat Eastern for fare. 5 days in Calcutta, eat, go around and sweat. The market is the biggest in India. Shops very nice. We shall see and smell all, but not buy anything. Plenty of traffic. On 17 July, Baba took a walk around the house with the women and then sat with them on the terrace, where he commented on the war and on the Must's reactions, which always had a hidden significance. America is not prepared and is scared. For hours, Mohammed sang today, "I am a peacock, how well I sing." He calls others and asks, "How do I sing?" They say, "Very nice." This new Must, Kareem Baba, is amazing. Doesn't get up from his place, eats anything you put before him. Today, he ate 60 pans together at a time, and eyes very bright. Musts, very difficult to get them in a bus and train. We catch the 4 p.m. train to Calcutta, and at 7 a.m., we reach Calcutta. The next day, Baba revealed starvation for millions in Europe. Millions will die of hunger, disease, etc. America is annoyed with Britain. Today, Muhammad sang, "I am the cobbler, I sing well. I am the potter, I sing well." Chadi Baba, who seldom speaks, today loudly said in Tamil, "I shoot and die in 2 days." 5 days in Calcutta will be very exciting. We will be moving, and all things in the war will be moving. War news exciting. Calcutta will be exciting. Maybe there will be a riot in Calcutta.
And there we have some pictures of Meher Baba reading the newspaper. And sorry, I keep getting these notices. My voice quality is poor. Baba reading bogus news. Ajmer, February 1939. I'm going to take a bathroom break.
Okay. Okay, I'll read when you get back.
Okay. You can start if
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to.
Sure, yeah, if you scroll down. Wartime seclusion. Meher Baba and the women left Ranchi by train on Friday, 19 July 1940, and arrived in Calcutta the following morning. They stayed for 3 days at the Majestic Hotel, and Baba fulfilled his promise of showing them the many sights. On 20 July, they visited the botanical gardens, the temple at Kalighat, the grand market of the city, and of course, the zoo. Wherever we landed, Baba invariably took us to the zoo, said Mani. We used to think it was for sightseeing, but it wasn't only that. Baba was doing his work with animals, and, as usual, he did it deftly and quickly. Baba once or twice walked so fast that we hardly had time to see the animals. He also casually commented to Mani in a pet store, "One day, the lion and the lamb will eat out of the same bowl. Again reminding her of the act they had seen at the circus. That evening, they saw the movie Typhoon at the Regal Cinema. The next day, they went to a Jain temple, Eden Gardens, and the Bird Bazaar, a large market where both animals and birds were sold. In one cage, they saw a tiny furry monkey with no tail. As Baba passed, the monkey put out its hand and gave a sound like the meow of a cat. Baba turned and smiled broadly. He took the monkey's hand and shook it. It really wants to come with you, Mehera remarked. They decided to buy it, even though its natural odor was rather foul. Baba named the monkey Jampu and put it in Kitty's charge. While traveling back to Meherabad by train, Jampu was kept in a basket, as animals were not allowed in the compartment. They found that not only could Jampu meow like a cat, he could also whistle like a bird, since he had been raised in a bird market. Jampu began making bird noises just as the conductor came by. Fortunately, birds were permitted on the train. "Oh, you have birds there," the conductor said politely to Narina. "Yes," Narina nodded, smiling, as she slipped a calming hand into the basket for the monkey to grasp. While Baba was still in Ranchi, he had instructed Pendu to build a strong bamboo cage for Karim Baba in the old maternity hospital on Meherabad Hill. But when the Must first arrived in Meherabad, he was kept in Baba's interview cabin on Lower Meherabad. Since Karim Baba's nature was unpredictably violent, the Mandali walked him up the hill in heavy metal chains. When they returned to Meherabad on 25 July, Baba prepared to go into seclusion with Karim Baba and the other musts. But first he gathered the women in Mary's room, where he told them, "I will give you your orders tomorrow. I know you will follow all of them, except the one of not criticizing and speaking ill of others. The one you won't be able to obey. I have been observing all of you the past few days. I do not care if you do not obey, but if you do, you will help me. If you do not, you are of no help. The only hope, which is only 1%, is that from August 1st, you might try your best. Everybody fights, and as far as this order is concerned, all are hopeless. Try your best to overcome it. All your fighting is childish and has no sense. If you try, you will control, but trying means thinking of me. I will be visiting once a week to see you for a few hours. And if later I go to a nearby mountain, still I will come once a week. The first hour I will spend with the girls, Eastern women, in this room, so that Mehera will also be satisfied in seeing me. Then I call you all and talk with you for a few hours. Each will have a duty, and you must do it with all your heart. Nadine, Irene, Mansari, and Carmen Masi were to be put on silence for a year, and others, such as Kitty, were instructed not to write. All had the order of eating only one meal a day, lunch, and of chanting the 7 names of God upon arising in the morning. They were to wake up before dawn and gather in the kitchen, where Mani was to accompany them on the harmonium. Baba dictated the tune for the prayer by asking them to sing the names, which, while he beat out a rhythm and pointed to anyone who came close, he also divided the women into groups of 3 each. Each group was ordered not to communicate with those outside their own group, except in Baba's presence. Kitty was allowed to pass messages from one group to another. Baba directed that the upstairs dormitory and hall of the water tank building be partitioned with bamboo batting, forming 4 small cubicles with 3 beds each. Downstairs, the northeast corner of the West Museum room was to be curtained off with a sari, and here Rano resumed working on the 10 circles painting. But Baba's most important orders to them were to control their anger and not to criticize or backbite. If you do not get angry, you are a stone. If you get angry and cannot control it, you are an animal. If you get angry and can control it, you are an angel, a saint. It is going against one's nature and habit that helps my work. Not getting angry will not help. You must not express it. Impotence is no help. If you think of me, these orders will go easy for you. Yoga means control, which is more difficult than cutting off your arm or giving up your eye. When Christ said to give your other cheek to be slapped, it means control. But the world thinks that if you get slapped and don't get excited, you're either a coward or shameless.
That is where we'll end.
Top of page 73. Can you find the stop record button, Tina?
Yes, I'm trying to find that.
Stop bugging me.
I'm trying to find it, but I'm not succeeding. I don't know where it is.
You looked under the 3 dots.
No.
If you go on the 3 dots,
I don't see 3 dots.
there's something about stop. Do you have an iPad?
No. I'm doing it on my computer.
Okay, retrace your steps. How did you start recording?
I don't remember. Oh, I see.